Man, why is France so high? So we got no paid vacations or holidays. Wow. I wonder why China's on the list, but in Japan they got a lot of paid holidays. Not France though, but paid vacations. Hmm. So Canada, they got a decent amount. So so several nations' laws refer to working days while others refer to calendar days or weeks. That's crazy. So we don't get paid on vacation or holidays. That's crazy. I'm surprised Canada's so low. So Japan, they got a lot of paid holidays, but for France, they don't. They only have one, but they get a lot of paid vacation. That's interesting. You voted the country and flag and anthem. Dumbo, great choice. I'm shocked that I may rust my head because I've not been live streaming all day because I just couldn't sleep. Um, I'm surprised we got no paid vacation or holidays, and the channel again is by Amir Cordo of Six Things. The live stream might be lagging. Nobody tells you about Canada versus the US.
Full discretion of the employer. As a result, close to 1 in 4 Americans have no paid vacation and no paid holidays. And even for those who have paid vacation, nearly half of them don't take all of it. About half of these workers say they don't feel they need to take more time off or worry they might fall behind at work if they took more time off. Some say that they feel badly about their coworkers taking on additional work, while smaller shares cite concerns that taking more time off might hurt their chances for a promotion, or that they might risk losing their job, or say their manager or supervisor discourages them from taking time off. But beyond just taking time off, America is known to valorize hustle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we don't rest much.
That hard work, often to the point of overwork,
yeah,
is key to achieving the American dream.
I mean, hell, Mexico, they're hardworking. I heard that. Man, I think they work more hours than we do. No wonder Mexicans are so family oriented. I'm not kidding. Like, they literally work so hard. I hope Darren will come on here. And yeah, the stream is working. That's good. And I understand if you need to lay down. Thank you, Dumbo, honestly. But man, no wonder we're stressed out a lot.
Activity is a virtue, a signal of ambition and dedication. What this means in
practice
is that employees feel pressure to work through vacations, answer emails at all hours, and always be on. Look, Canada's very much 9 to 5. I would say that's also the very first thing I've noticed having entered the workforce in Canada, because I grew up watching US movies and seeing how people kind of work nonstop, kind of 24/7. They are at dinner with their family and they take on work goals. You know, they work at Saturdays and Sundays and that kind of stuff. You will not see that in Canada. And I think that it's mostly frowned upon to have that. The result of all this isn't just a reluctance to take time off, but a pervasive mindset that equates continuous work with one's moral worth and professional standing. Now I can tell you straight up that this isn't a thing in Canada, or at least it's not as widespread. Again, Canada's labor laws guarantee paid time off. And when you combine that with a universal healthcare system and a robust social safety net, both of which aren't...
I love their flag. It's so cute. I'm going to tickle it. I don't know why.
Paid time off. And when you combine that with a universal healthcare system and a robust social safety net, both of which aren't tied to your employer, Canadians generally feel less pressure to sacrifice personal time for fear of losing their benefit or falling behind. But this cultural difference in work attitudes also informs how the two countries approach risk. American culture places a lot of emphasis on entrepreneurship, innovation, and risk-taking. And it's not just a cultural thing, it's actively supported by the country's financial infrastructure. In 2022, VC investments in the US totaled approximately $209 billion. In contrast, Canada's 2022 VC investments only added up to $8.2 billion.
Interesting.
In addition to that, American banks are known for being more lenient and risk-taking compared to their Canadian counterparts, and this plays out in several ways. For starters, Canadian banks are tightly regulated by the OSFI to maintain stability. American banks, on the other hand, have historically operated in a less restrictive environment, which allows for more aggressive lending practices, think securitized mortgages, which were a major part of the '08 financial crisis. While no Canadian banks failed during that time, the US saw several significant collapses.
Like the stock market crash, so I've heard. Same with Mexico, yeah. And the Americas done as free as it. Exactly, Dumbo, exactly. So that's every country too, yeah. It's just that we tend to be so hardworking and stressing out. So it makes sense. It's normal for us. Yeah, that's why I get so many headaches. You know, I shouldn't, but no, part of me, I can handle it.
An environment that's generally more business friendly, and you have yourself a country where taking entrepreneurial risks isn't just possible, but celebrated. In Canada, the approach is much more fiscally conservative. While there are certainly entrepreneurs and innovators in the country, the culture as a whole still leans towards stability rather than disruption. And this makes sense going back to the entire POG versus LLPH thing.
So when it comes to work culture, I think one of the biggest differences I see is that Canada is a lot more conflict averse and conflict avoidant. It's very much focused on teamwork, collaboration, and making sure there's like consensus and everybody agrees with what needs to be done. So people don't really like kind of stirring up the pot or creating conflict and stuff like that. And in fact, if you come in and kind of try to maybe stand out or be that disturber, it's not generally appreciated. Whereas I think in the States, it's a little bit different.
And this more conservative work culture also shows up in how Canadians talk about and handle their finances.
A new survey by the real estate firm Will LePage indicates that 1 in 4 Canadians say they plan to purchase an investment property in the next 5 years.
If entrepreneurship is go-to in the US, then in Canada, it's real estate. In 2022, approximately 40% of Canadian household wealth was tied up in real estate, in comparison to 31% in the US.
Interesting.
And I remember back when I lived in Canada, that was the default path that my peers and I talked about. You make your money in a nice, stable job, and then you invest your savings in real estate. Rarely, if ever, did we talk about entrepreneurship or more speculative ventures, though not for lack of want, but mainly for lack of possibility. Canada's stock market is less diverse and dynamic than the US's, so I just ended up investing all of my money in American stocks. In addition to that, Canadian banks were more risk-averse, and there's just fewer VC opportunities. Now, this isn't to say that Canada lacks innovation or ambition, not at all. Canadian companies like Shopify, who are not sponsoring this video, unfortunately, are emerging global players. And furthermore, the Toronto Waterloo Corridor is one of the fastest growing tech hubs in North America. So there are plenty of innovative, ambitious entrepreneurs in Canada, and things are changing. Though, to be honest, it's changing slowly, and it does depend a lot on government support. So to conclude, these different approaches to work and wealth ultimately come down to priorities and values. The US thrives on ambition, hustle, risk-taking, and its culture and economic system reward that. Canada, by contrast, places greater emphasis on stability and security, as demonstrated by its work culture and preference for relatively safer investments like real estate. Again, neither is inherently better, it's just different, and it all depends on what you personally value. However, the cultural differences don't end there. They also extend into how each nation handles disagreement and polarization. America is politically polarized. Yes, I know this is.
So he looks so different without his beanie on.
Again, neither is inherently better. It's just different, and it all.
Anyway, he's attractive.
What I really want to highlight is how news media feeds into this polarization and how it's different in Canada. Now, before I go any further, let me just acknowledge upfront that straight news reporting absolutely exists in America. Shows like NBC Nightly News, ABC World News Tonight, and PBS NewsHour deliver fact-based, balanced reporting every day. But here's the thing. In the US, straight news programs like these aren't culturally dominant. They don't set the national conversation in the same way that opinion shows on Fox News, MSNBC, or Newsmax do. The shows on these networks, they're loud, they're engaging, they're emotional.
Truly sickening.
Yeah, I mean, this is sick.
Just destroying working class Americans.
That these racist, xenophobic views are.
Where the liberal cult mindset.
Is that what happened? Is that what happened in this case?
It doesn't sound like it to me.
Which is great for them as a business vying for your attention, but not so great for journalistic neutrality. And people realize this. Americans' trust in media is close to a record low.
Yeah, I only trust like I guess it depends on what you mean by media here, right? So I can't. I'm colorblind. So the dark line is a great deal for amount. And Deon, let's see. None at all. So in the 70s, well, yeah, because well, you would just have normal television would be pretty low, but in 2022, it really went up, and we used to believe more of it in the mid 70s, but it decreased by half.
38% of U.S. adults say they do not have very much confidence in mass media, and 38% say they have no trust at all.
The national news is more polarized, certainly on broadcast and cable, and it's much less reportage and much more opinion.
In Canada, it's different. Hyperpartisan networks and shows like these don't really exist at scale. The big three Canadian news networks, CBC, CTV, and Global, are mostly defined by straight news reporting.
It's kind of funny because I used to do like some, like I know someone liked the stream and they unliked it. I just want to say whoever's doing that, I just hope that you, why are they doing that? Yeah, Dumbo, you saw that, right? We had 2 viewers and 2 likes, and then they left. Oh my Buddha. Oh. Anyway, I'm not gonna have that affect me, or I'll do my best not to. When I used to call out, even though people didn't like how, maybe that's why my channel didn't do so good, because of how, well, with the lack of equipment and the way I get distracted easily, people would just immediately click off. Like when I try to do news topics, people are not interested because, well, they don't want to get the opportunity to hear me speak. And let's just say I'm just terrible at acting professional. That's just how my brain is wired. But like I remember when I would search up some like Canadian news related sites, and it's really accurate. Well, for some of our American ones tend to not be.
Not saying that Canadian news is perfect. Bias definitely exists, and sometimes the way that they handle stories isn't always the most balanced. However, it's not as overtly partisan as what you'd see in the US. To show you what I mean, I'll share a few excerpts from major Canadian news networks, and pay close attention to the wording.
That's either a good thing if you think we already get taxed too much, or it's a bad thing if you ask yourself what the government could have spent that money on.
How they attribute partisan language to its source instead of adopting it themselves.
The Conservatives are set to serve up another non-confidence motion on Thursday, a move the Liberals called lame parliamentary games.
And how they frame things in a way that invites you to form your own opinion.
Parties will be looking at the economy as it affects individual voters, as each tries to prove they offer the best option.
You won't see a national news anchor openly endorsing a political party or aggressively lambasting a politician in the same way you might on US networks like Fox News or MSNBC.
The vibes are horrible, but isn't this what people wanted?
Now, before we move any further, let's just address the obvious critique here. Am I cherry picking? Well, I've been showing you opinion-based shows in the US,
but not a bad way.
Straight news reports in Canada. So yeah, it's not exactly apples to apples. Canada has its opinion shows too, and America has plenty of neutral broadcasting, just like what you find in Canada. But here's the key difference: scale. In Canada, if you want overtly partisan commentary, you need to seek it out. It's not driving the national discourse. During Canada's 2019 federal election, a study tracking Canadians' online behavior found that only 1% of Canadians visited Rebel News, a partisan right-wing outlet. The vast majority stuck with mainstream sources like CBC, CTV, and Global, leaving hyper-partisan voices on the fringe rather than at the center.
Oh yeah, but Toronto Sun. That's one of the news sites because that's where I would get some of my research on. So yeah, that's pretty accurate. Toronto Sun is really good to use. So I heard about that. I didn't heard about Global though. Interesting.
By contrast, US hyperpartisan outlets are the mainstream. Networks like Fox News and MSNBC dominate their respective sides, shaping the news Americans see, and more importantly, how they see the world. But why is it like this? Why do we see partisan voices front and center in the US, but on the fringe in Canada? Well, I think it has a lot to do with broadcasting regulations. In the
Up ad. Yeah, I wonder if maybe I am live streaming too much. I hope I'm not irritating my viewers because unless maybe they're not getting notified. Maybe that's why no one's here. Yet again, though, no, I'm not doing anything wrong because Global, I know he was going to do a lot. Bryony, she works a lot, and Essence, well, I know she has a lot. Okay, maybe it has nothing to do with me. Maybe I'm overthinking things. Plus, maybe because my channel's too small, so that's part why.
broadcasters are required to provide a reasonable opportunity for the public to be exposed to the expression of differing views on matters of public concern. America has, or had, a similar regulation called the Fairness Doctrine.
The Fairness Doctrine.
The Fairness Doctrine was established in 1949 by the FCC, and it required broadcasters to cover controversial issues of public importance in a fair and balanced manner.
The Fairness Doctrine was part of the entrance of the federal government in the regulation of access to the airwaves. You have to have balance. And if there is a presentation of one point of view, you have to have a contrary point of view.
However, critics argue that it limited free speech, led to self-censorship, and was ineffective in achieving its objectives.
The Fairness Doctrine actually diminished the amount of political discourse over the airways, and that's a bad thing. They were always very concerned that the FCC might yank their licenses, so they tried to avoid controversial political discussions and instead aired shows about gardening or cooking or something else, which might be very worthwhile, but was not good for political discourse.
And some broadcasters didn't like that they had to present opposing views without stating their own personal side. But like, isn't that exactly what journalism is supposed to be?
Not only did you have to have the opposing view on it, but you could not say which side of it, at least at the stations I worked at, you couldn't say which side of the point you had.
That's true. They would be biased. It's Marley. Yeah, I agree too. And you know about the Toronto sign? Yeah. Oh, did he say I take a shower? Oh, I didn't saw his message. I don't know what they mean by contrary. That's what I'm wondering.
In June 1987, the Fairness Doctrine was about to be codified into federal law. However, Reagan vetoed it. And soon after, the FCC that Reagan appointed abolished the Fairness Doctrine altogether, saying that it unconstitutionally restricted the free speech rights of broadcast journalists.
The Fairness Doctrine, there's nothing fair about it. It is a political restriction of free speech, anti-constitutional, terrible doctrine, and we don't even see it reintroduced.
A few years later, after the doctrine was abolished, Fox News was founded.
Good morning. Welcome to Fox News Channel.
Now, some suggest that abolishing the Fairness Doctrine led to the founding of Fox News, while others suggest that no, that's false because it only applied to broadcast licenses and not cable TV channels. However, I still think that there's some connection here. According to Steve Rendall in Sisyphus magazine, the true value of the Fairness Doctrine, beyond the occasional remedies it provided, was that it codified the principle that broadcasters have a responsibility to the public to present a range of views on controversial issues.
I don't think that we as broadcasters have the right to go and express our own views or the views of an individual party or individual organization without providing the opportunity for others to have that same right on the air.
So in my opinion, while the Fairness Doctrine certainly wasn't perfect and has its flaws, I don't think completely repealing it was the solution. It's like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. And so when you combine that with other factors like algorithmic bias, corporate incentives, and the decline of local journalism, it's no wonder why American news media is more polarized than insulated. Yet despite the polarization, there is an undeniable strength that both the US and Canada have. And that is diversity.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree with number 5. Diversity?
Countries are incredibly diverse, but in different ways. Let's start with the numbers. In the US, a much larger proportion of the population identifies as Black and Hispanic compared to Canada. From the latest census data that I found aggregated online, the second and third largest racial groups in the U.S. are Hispanic or Latino at 19% of the population, and Black or African American at 11.6% of the population.
Huh.
In contrast, only 2.5% of Canadians identify as Latin, Central, and South American, and 4.46% identify as Black or African.
Really? There's more blacks than average in Canada. I mean, I know that seems small, but it's not. 4% is pretty high, actually. Like, there is a lot of Black Canadians. People would be surprised. So you're more likely to see a Black person in Canada than our country. Of course, it does depend on the state that you live in as well. I didn't know that. Interesting. So only 2.5% there are Hispanic. Wait, how does Canada do it? They say, Deon, let's see. Yeah, okay. I normally say Hispanic or Latino. Oh, it says Latin. I always say Latino though.
Now, I should clarify that Latin American and Hispanic aren't directly interchangeable terms as they reflect different cultural
That's true.
and geographic identities. But for the purposes of this comparison, I'm just working with the government's given categories. This is different, though, for the two largest communities of color in Canada, South Asian and Chinese Canadians, who make up 6.4%
Wow.
and 4.7% of the population, respectively.
Really?
In the U.S., they make up 1.9% and 1.6% of the population.
So wait, wow. Wait. Oh no, okay. Except Taiwanese. So Chinese alone, there's Deon, let's see. Here in the US, it's 1.5%, but in Canada, it's almost 2%. Wait, I can't read.
Now, this difference is huge when it comes to the cultural influences that shape each country. In America, Black and Hispanic voices are really amplified in American culture. Artists, athletes, and activists from these communities have contributed so much to American culture, history, and language. And not to mention that Spanish is the second most widely spoken and written language in the U.S.
Yeah.
On the other hand, while South Asian and East Asian communities have contributed so much to Canada's social fabric, I still find that, from my perspective, Asian Canadian representation is just lacking overall in mainstream Canadian culture.
Really?
Compared to our societal impact.
Really?
Now, some people say that Asians in general don't go for that kind of media and pop culture thing, which, I mean, fair. When I tell my parents I'm a professional creative, all they hear is professional disappointment.
I love that. Damn it. Oh! It's from the Eric Andre show. Are you kidding? Oh, I love how when people do that. It makes you laugh every time. He's so cute. Oh man, that girlfriend of his is lucky.
Fair. When I tell my parents I'm a professional creative, all they hear is professional disappointment.
I love that. We'll be right back. I'm gonna find that again. I need a laugh.
Fair. When I tell my parents I'm a professional creative, all they hear is professional disappointment.
I love that. One more time.
Reinforcement.
I haven't heard that jingle in a long time.
When I tell my parents I'm a professional creative, all they hear is professional disappointment.
So, Dumbo, to explain about the Eric Andre show, is this dumb? Like, it's hard to explain it. It's like this weird, like, sitcom or, like, prank channel or something. This man, like, I mean, us Americans, like, I mean, we like it, but at the same time, we're kind of irritated by it, right? I think he lives in New York, I think. I don't know. It's supposed to be this guy that he even meets celebrities. Like, he met Rihanna, he met, I think Justin Bieber once. He's a little weird. Like, he kind of does, it's like you think about prank channels on YouTube, right? He literally would meet, he does pranks on them. It's kind of dumb. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable when I watch that. Maybe I don't get the humor as an American myself, but that's what his show is based off on. Yep, it was a huge meme. Yep, it was. Dumbo, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? You don't know who Justin Bieber is? Really? So Justin Bieber is, I'm shocked. like I thought a lot of people know. I thought like everyone on this earth know about him, or at least heard of him. So Justin Bieber, he's this Canadian musician, right? He was the one that sings that "Baby Baby" song, right? That a lot of people don't like, including me. He is from Canada, if I recall. I don't know that much about him now, but yeah, he's a musician. He does like pop music, so to speak. That's probably why maybe I'm not much of a fan. Yeah, I'm shocked you never know. I'm shocked you don't know who he is. Yeah, I don't recommend it. The song is pretty annoying. It's like baby, baby, baby. Oh, that's how a song is like, right? It's a weird song.
Well, don't go for that kind of media and pop culture thing, which I mean, fair. When I tell my parents I'm a professional creative, all they hear is professional disappointment. But I also think it's a matter of reinforcement. A lot of Asians don't go for those things, therefore you don't see a lot of people going for it, therefore you don't go for it, and it's a cycle that persists. Also illustrates why representation is important. Anyways, to summarize, both countries are diverse in different ways, and this difference in diversity creates differences in mainstream culture. Now on to our final topic, which is politeness.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
For some reason, everyone loves talking about this one. Canadians have a reputation for being really, really
It's kind of
polite.
true.
We say sorry. We'll give you the oil from our snowmobile. We'll let you take our snowmobile if you need to get to where you need to go. Really?
Wow, that's a good impression there. He is kind of right, eh? He is. Plus, we do have a lot of Canadians that like to live down here, eh?
Oh, sure, that's what Canadian hospitality is all about. If you like, you can have all my money and my leg.
Okay. Which, actually, now that I think about it, makes more sense given the entire LLPH and Connor thing. But to be completely honest with you, I don't know. I think there are plenty of kind people in both countries, and there's no definitive evidence that I can point to that directly measures politeness levels, because how would you do that? So while the stereotype is fun to talk about, I think it's more so a difference in cultural communication styles than it is about actual like politeness.
I think that that's where like this whole polite stereotype comes from. I don't think it's true to the extent of everybody is super kind, because it's like anywhere else. There's people that are, there's people that aren't.
That's
I
true.
think a lot of people are, just in general in the world. But I think we express it differently.
In my experience, I've had more polite and respectful interactions with Canadian strangers and more friendly, gregarious, and open interactions with American strangers.
Wait, what?
In my experience, I've had more polite and respectful interactions with Canadian strangers and more friendly, gregarious, and open interactions with American strangers.
That's interesting. Like, there's a difference between that? Interesting.
Okay, what do I mean by this? First of all, by no intention of my own, I've had more conversations with strangers in America than I have with strangers in Canada.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, because we like to talk to anyone randomly, which is a good thing. So, yeah, people in other countries are a little surprised, but it just means we're kind. Even though we seem a little bit stuck up, but we do care at the same time. I know by experience.
Talking about the long chat with the cashier or the person next to you in line. And when I compare the interactions that I've had in Canada versus the ones I've had in America, I found one, Americans are usually the ones initiating.
Yep.
Two, they're more open and they'll talk to you and
Yep.
they've known each other for years. Three, the interactions were less politically correct and stiff.
Yep. All this is this is 1,001% accurate.
Or you learn an American's opinion faster than you would a Canadian's. Of course, this is just my experience and depends a lot on where you are in the country. I've heard it said that this might just be an East Coast versus West Coast thing.
Nope. It happens a lot out here. It happens a lot out here, actually.
Urban versus suburban versus rural kind of thing. I don't know, so don't quote me on it. This is what my American friend Samuel has to say. Okay, last question. Who do you think is more polite?
Oh man, okay. So I noticed it pretty quickly coming to Canada. You know, the stereotype that Canadians are nice. I said no, Canadians are not nice people. They're polite people.
Yeah, polite.
I feel like polite, especially in Vancouver. This might not be true Canada-wide, but in Vancouver for sure, it's polite and I don't want to talk to you.
Like, I don't want to end.
Right. That makes sense. As you act like a Canadian, eh? Because of being polite. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be polite. I let you do your thing. Like, oh, go ahead. Nice is definitely a misnomer in my opinion. Like, when I think of nice, I think of like the Southern mom who's like, oh, come on in to the stranger or whatever. I've never had strangers in Vancouver be nice to me. I've had to be polite, but I've never had them be nice to me, which is interesting. At the end of the day, these are just generalizations. The truth is, we're more alike than we are different. There's more that unites us than separates us, and it's these nuances that make the world such an interesting place. And if you want to see some of the lessons that I've learned ever since moving here to the US, then watch this video next.
He's really attractive. Oh man, Filipinos are really attractive. All right, anyway, sorry, I just had to say it out loud. Ooh, he played the piano? He is so attractive. How old is he? Stop being so quiet. I'm just like thinking.
I found this game called Parents Are Human, and it's designed to help people connect with their immigrant parents in their own language. And I'm gonna play it with my mom. Oh no! Oh no! You're trying to actively make me cry. About a year ago, I surprised my mom by learning her language, Filipino. But to be completely honest with you, I have not practiced my Tagalog since then, and I really suck. So you're gonna see that. Anyways, let's play. So this is a game called Parents Are Human, and the cards are half in English and half in Tagalog. There are 4 rounds. They get progressively more and more deep as we go. The first one is shallow. They're questions. The second round are actions. It's a little bit more fun. The third round is deep questions. The last one are deep actions. Okay? I'm going to be keeping a tally up there. And for every single thing that I get wrong, that's how many chilies I will eat after this, okay? Oh, it hurts so much. I will pull the first question to get us started. Ano ang isang bagay na laging nagpapasaya sa'yo? Makatanggap ng tawag mo sa text mo. Simple lang, ha? Simple? Bakit? Siyempre, namimiss kita. Malayo tayo ngayon. So, pag nakakatanggap ako ng text o tawag, masaya ako. Buo yung araw ko. Bakit naman? Ikaw na. Okay. Ano ang gagawin mo kung ang pera ay hindi problema? Oh, madali yun. Gusto kong magbiyahe sa Greece.
And your comments are going through. The name of it is, it's titled Asking My Filipino Mom Emotional Questions. Parents Are Human. Of course they're human. Why wouldn't they be? Yeah, he's asking his mother like funny, interesting questions in his own language. Ooh, what do Japanese people think of American comics? Are you serious? I love our comics. Oh God, I hit the jackpot again. Oh God, I hit the jackpot of a lot of videos here. Oh my. I know she does seem sweet. Oh, there's a lot of good videos here. And oh, that guy, Ian on YouTube, his video went viral. Why am I 30 years old working a dead-end retail job? That went viral. I know it only had like a handful. A lot of people that work normal jobs, they don't get paid enough. So it's great that he's getting a lot of views. And it's not like an edited thumbnail. It's just a picture of him just talking about working at a 7-Eleven. And there's something wrong with that. Racism in Siberia. Oh man, I hit the jackpot of a lot of these videos, didn't I? Hold on. I think it is a little bit delayed. It says 35:28. Wait. Okay, good. The sound is still working. Wonderful. White passing teens expose white. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, they're like mice. They're like black or mixed. Oh okay. Comic Drake. Oh, this is so cool. Let's see.
That manga is superior to Western comics, but I've never really understood that. After all, they are the exact same entertainment medium, and there is some stuff that Western comics does better than manga.
I think I have. Hold on.
Here's the thought that I don't.
I only met 2 Canadians in my life, both from really. And one was the sweetheart and one was the jerk. So you have both experiences. That's interesting. So yeah. Is this by coincidence? Yeah, the live stream must be lagging a bit.
Clearly, folks in the West love anime and manga, but what do people in Japan think about our comics?
Well, I'm in Japan right now, so let's answer the question.
Now, when you're traveling internationally, you can't just use your phone like normal. And one of the best ways to get it up and running as soon as you land is through an eSIM card, like the ones that are provided by the sponsor of today's video, Sailor. All you need to do is download the app, buy a plan, and then install the eSIM. That's literally it. No waiting in line at the airport for a local SIM, no fake SIM cards outside of airports or train stations, just affordably priced plans that are available in over 160 countries and 8 regions with 24/7 support. So you are taken care of regardless of what time zone that you're currently in. And there are full refunds if your eSIM is not compatible with your phone. Sailor plans are already extremely affordable, but you can get an additional 15% off just by clicking the link below using the code COMIC3 to check out.
Oh, I know, Dumbbell. I'm just trying to enjoy myself.
To travel across the world to make this video in the first place, but now
if you come to Mexico City, you'll be blown away by the like how we love like the love we Mexicans have for all kinds of comics. Awesome.
Don't believe me? History lesson. After World War II, the United States set up military bases in Japan and imported a lot of goods from back stateside for their soldiers. And this, of course, included comic books, which back in the day were one of the most popular entertainment mediums out there. Pretty much every child and young adult man was reading comics. Well, a Japanese medical student named Osamu Tezuka was given a stack of American comic books from an American soldier that he was friends with, specifically Donald Duck comics. And these books encouraged Tezuka to follow his dreams and create his very own manga. And create, he most certainly did, because Tezuka went on to make several highly influential series, including a little title called Astro Boy, which completely reshaped the anime landscape. And as a result, Tezuka is widely considered to be the godfather of anime. And if you take a look at pretty much
Demon
any
Slayer,
anime you can think of, you can almost
Bleach, Dragon Ball, Astro Boy,
which means that as a result, you are also tracing those influences back to Western comic books. And it's not like Western comics ever went away in Japan either. Marvel especially knew that Japan was a great market for their products. In the 70s, they teamed up with Toei to create the tokusatsu shows Battle Fever J and the iconic Spider-Man, which I covered in my dedicated award-winning video.
So Japan likes
I love that
Spider-Man,
Marvel
huh?
got so involved in Japan because this show is awesome. And by the way, because Spider-Man's giant transforming mech Leopardon was so popular, Toei also started including giant transforming mechs in all of their other Sentai shows, which has since become an iconic part of their identity. Yeah, Spider-Man basically invented Megazords. All of that being said, though, in the decades since, the influence of Western comics in Japan did start to fade, but it never went away entirely. Like, it went on even well into the 90s. Just take a look at this volume of Wolverine I picked up. It somehow looks even more badass in Japanese.
Wow.
But believe it or not, there are still dedicated Western comic shops in Japan that are still in business to this day. Now, sure, they're tiny when you compare them to the massive multi-floor mega manga stores,
Yep.
but they do exist, tucked away, just waiting for you to wander in and discover your next favorite series. My personal favorite shop is Blister Comics in the nerd capital Tokyo, Akihabara. They stock plenty of Western comic books in both Japanese and English, but I will admit I ran into a slight problem. A lot of us have heard about how English is a mandatory subject in Japanese schools, but from my personal experience of interacting with locals in my trips to Japan, it does seem like the majority of folks that I encountered either aren't fluent or they can read English, but they aren't confident in speaking it with a complete stranger, especially a complete stranger that would want to record a YouTube video with them. However, a ton of locals that I met are more than happy to have conversations through Google Translate, and even if there is a language barrier, they are happy to welcome foreigners who share hobbies like board games and karaoke. One such local that I talked to via Google Translate was an employee at Blister named Tomohiro, who was more than happy to answer every question that I had about the Western comic book scene in Japan from the retailer perspective. Blister is well known enough that they occasionally get variant covers created specifically for their shop, and Tomohiro explained that although you would expect for most of their clientele to be foreigners living abroad, they almost exclusively cater to Japanese consumers. Their average customer is between 20 and 30 years old.
Really? 20 to 30? You serious? So our age bracket. Oh, that's pretty cool. I think my live stream is really acting up. Oh, I hate when this happens. It's not moving. Oh boy, Dumbo, I'm so sorry because your messages are not coming through. So the name of this video is "What do Japanese people think of American comics?" I mean, I love both. I still remember when me and Casey went to that damn store. It was this hot, tall guy that works there. He gave me that. Oh, I might need to talk about comics. I still have it. He gave that to us for free. It was a damn it. I forgot what comic it was, but he gave it to us for free. It was in Glendale, of course, not too far from where we used to live. Because me and Casey, we wanted to go to the comic bookstore, kind of like this, right? And he just gave it us for free. And oh good, I get to see your messages now. Yeah, I was shocked. Like I still have it. It's just in my it's in my closet. Oh, I know. I just first I happen to apologize. I think personally Japan does comics, cartoon. You think so? I like both. But I think I guess I could agree with you. You like both too, honestly. We like Japan comics, right? Right. I actually live in Japan currently with my partner. He finds American comics to be confusing, overly what the hell? What word is that? Convoluted and hard to follow. So otaku in Japan, the hardcore ones have limited to no issues jumping into Marvel comics because of the movies, right? So manga, it predates World War II by at least a decade or so. Interesting. I didn't know that. I might need to talk about comics, do I? I should have changed the thumbnail, but it's a little late for that. Yeah, he gave it to me for free. It was super nice, wasn't it? I love that story. It was eons ago though. I still have it. So manga and anime used to take Western inspiration pretty often, really. A prime example, Monkey Punch, Lupa. Oh, I love Lupa the Third. Many Japanese animators have even worked on Western properties, really. Oh, that's right, because Lupa the Third is kind of based off of like how they got guns and it's kind of like based off the U.S. and other countries. Yeah, no wonder I grew up with Lupa the Third so much. Give me a good thumbnail and title and your general excitement, and I'm down for watching about whatever. What's the video called? What do Japanese people think of American comics? I don't think I said it right, Dumbbell. I don't think that's how it's spelled. I forgot what word it was. I don't know what word. Honestly.
Because of just how popular superhero movies have become. Yeah, dude, Japanese people really seem to love Marvel movies in particular.
Damn it, I think I kind of found what I'm interested in. Dumbbell, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about restarting the live stream again. I'm so sorry that I keep doing this. I'm probably going to end this. Damn it, I think I'm pushing it too much. See it again, if I talk about comics, there's something else I want to talk about. Oh, my brain hurts. Ah, fine. It's fine. I got my okay if I don't get any people viewing right now. Wait, Dumbo, do you get notified of my live streams? I'm not sure if you do.
There's tons of merch and figures available at most hobby stores, and I saw plenty of cosplay at Tokyo Comic Con. One thing in particular that I found extremely interesting, though, is that Tomohito explained
that
Japanese
sucks.
comic fans tend to not be afraid of jumping right into the middle of an ongoing story, and they aren't usually bothered by not knowing all of the minuscule continuity. Most popular manga magazines are anthologies like Shonen Jump. And even though someone might pick up an issue to read the latest chapter of One Piece, it is super common to flip through the rest of the book as well to see the other series that are inside of it, most of which are right in the middle of their.
Oh, ad. You want this is frozen. I can start over. Yeah. Plus, I kind of do want to talk about comics. Damn it! I know I've been doing this all day. I just don't know what the hell I want to do on my channel yet. I'm so sorry, Dumbbell. Let me restart.